If you can hear me, please let me know, first of all. Add a little comment in the chat. Hey, can anybody hear me? There we go. Thanks, Paul. Awesome. Cheers, Sarah. All right. Hey, guys. I hope you're all well. It's me, Stefan from Sublu. And today I've got a very special guest. He's a great chap. His name's Steve Forrester, and he is the founder of the Whisky Order, but also the subscription Accelerator. So I'm very excited to have him here today. This is, by the way, just to really cover this one off real quick, this is brand new software that we're using. It's called Webinar Ninja, and one of my friends actually built it, so decided to take it for a spin because there's more things we can use it for versus Crowdcast. So apologies for any confusion caused by this. So if you have any feedback about it, just let me know. But I don't know if you can see Steve just now. Let's see how this works. I'm going to try and increase the the size of his camera and see if that works. Oh, right. I'll put you front and center, Steve, I think. Can everybody see Steve?
Can you see my big fat head? Let me know if you can see my big fat head.
There we go. Cheers, Andre. Yeah, Andre, I can see your big fat head.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So I don't know if we can do both up at the same time, but hey, there we go. You can see me now. Cool, in the corner. Nice one. All right, cool. Let's do it this way because you're the main man here just now, Steve. So, Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself, the backstory. Obviously, you've got an Aussie accent there, so you're clearly in Australia. So, thanks for first of all chiming in and making time for this. But yeah, I would love to hear your just like an overview story for how you got started.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Stefan, for the very warm and kind introduction. So my story starts back in 2014, where I started my first subscription box, which was the Whisky Order. So the Whisky Order, just for those who want to know, is a subscription box that sends whiskey samples to whiskey connoisseurs and people wanting to try whiskey all around the world. So over the first 12 months, I mucked around with various marketing tactics, got to learn the ropes, and we generated over 100K in revenue, and that sort of led to bigger and better things from there, which was amazing. Since that time, I've also helped a lot of other subscription entrepreneurs, formalize their marketing, formalize their internal processes, and just make bigger and better subscription box businesses. And I decided to make that into a core program. So I've called that the Subscription Accelerator program. But I'm here today to sort of help you guys out and talk to you, answer your questions, see what I can do to help. I've got obviously a lot of expertise in marketing of subscription boxes. Also some funny little things like liquid filling. I can tell you all about liquid filling and getting alcohol across state lines and all that sort of good fun stuff. So if you've got any interesting questions like that, I'm happy to field them too. So.
Awesome. Thanks for running us through that, Steve. So yeah, I'm really excited about this because Steve, you and I have been talking for the best part of a year and a half now. And I've seen you progressing as basically as a mentor for the subscription box entrepreneur community, which is awesome because we need people like you who are willing to take the time to actually educate others who are very new to this process of starting a subscription box and the business. So I think this is a really great opportunity to kind of like make that known to people here as well, that you can be seen as as a mentor, so to speak, to other people. So Steve is on our subscription box entrepreneurs Facebook group. You'll see him pitching in now and again on the comments. So he's always there to help. But at the end, I think we'll talk about the Subscription Accelerator a little bit more. But first of all, I want to ask a couple of questions myself, and then what we'll do is we'll go through and I'll ask you the questions that other people have posted in amongst all the comments here. I can see them being written, which is awesome. And then on the Facebook event page as well. So we'll just kind of go with the flow. So to start with, I always love asking this question. What's like the biggest challenge that you faced starting your subscription box business, and how did you overcome it?
Great, good question. Well, for me, it was regulatory, and that was because of the nature of the product that I was selling, which is whiskey. So that's a unique sort of thing that a lot of subscription box owners probably won't face, but it's definitely one that takes it takes consideration when you're first starting out. What are the regulatory requirements of what I'm doing? Do I need a business license in the US? That's one of the things I know you need. Are the goods that I am sending out, do they require any special certifications, like special food handling certifications, or in my instance, it was an alcohol license. But in that sense, it was actually a good thing. So that problem is a really good problem to have if you're coming across that, because it does build a defensible position within your business. So that means that getting another alcohol subscription box in Australia is actually not an easy endeavor. I did have to navigate the obviously the government restrictions about how I store it, because a lot of these subscription boxes and a lot of our subscription boxes, they start from home, don't they? They start from the kitchen, they start from the living room. Those things I'm not allowed to do, okay, because of the nature of the product, because it's so heavily restricted. So I had to figure out how I can use, you know, local resources available to me to overcome those sorts of problems. So that would have been my greatest challenge, and something I'm happy to talk further on if anyone's got any questions on that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously red tape is always going to be, it's a funny one, actually. Do you know, like, as a kind of young entrepreneur slash hustler myself, like when I first started on business endeavors in my late teens, early 20s, you know, I've always been in the mindset, like, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. And I can't remember who said that to me, but basically, like, that's the way I probably have approached it. But now at the end of my 20s, and I'm realizing how important the red tape is, you know, it is very important to do your homework and your research to find out what licenses you need, what things you need to do from a regulatory like perspective. So yeah, that's a big challenge. Alcohol is an interesting one. I mean, I certainly have been interested in business models that, you know, include alcohol. I've got friends who do subscription boxes for alcohol in the UK, not whiskey. And by the way, big fan of whiskey, so this makes it even more exciting for me, which I think is how we kind of initially connected. Actually, that initial conversation about, you know, I think it's your Scottish roots, is it?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, another question I like to ask is, you know, from a growth perspective, you know, you've got all this. The red tape out of the way. What's like the number one thing for you that you'd say that every subscription box business should do in order to at least see some steady progress in terms of acquiring subscribers? What's like a surefire strategy that everybody should research and educate themselves on further, and you know, like kind of like an actionable point?
Yep, email marketing. All the way. Okay, everything, all roads lead to email marketing. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook ads, doesn't matter if it's SEO, influencer marketing, whatever. All roads will lead eventually into email marketing. So having the ability to capture emails and then write persuasive emails that convert, you know, potential viewers into buyers, that is the key thing. That's what's really driven my business from day dot.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Have you heard of the approach to writing copy? There's like a 5 letters or something. It's like attention. AIDA. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you recommend that approach?
Definitely. Well, there's no sort of hidden bullet or anything, you know, silver bullet, so to speak. AIDA is a really good way of framing the argument or the conversation within your email campaign. That is a good framework. And if you're operating on a framework, you know you're going to get certain things right. My approach to email marketing has always been about building a relationship with a customer. You know, add value just like you would in any sort of marketing space. You want to provide them with a good, strong call to action. You know, here's your $10 off coupon, go purchase today. Start to educate and talk more about your subscription box. So in my instance, I talk about, you know, some of the funny facts of whiskey, some of the interesting things, how you try whiskey, what glasses to use, all that sort of stuff. I look on the periphery of the actual the niche, and then that in itself helps educate someone, makes them feel more confident about going into and becoming a member of my subscription box there. So that's how I frame it. And then that continues on over the space of, you know, 14 to 21 days. And generally we find a very good ROI from that.
Nice. So you've got like an automation, I guess, in place that actually, you know, takes the customer through that journey. And what would you say, like, do you find that the open rates tail off over time, or are they quite consistent for the ones who end up purchasing towards the end?
They are pretty consistent. And then what you'll find is they'll drop off almost immediately with the people who just wanted the coupon or whatever the thing is that you're offering to get their initial email. But then it'll basically plateau for the most part and then gradually tail off. So, and that's normal. I think I've seen a few industries and that seems to be pretty consistent. So, but as long as you're, you can experiment with things like your subject lines, that's a good way of getting an open rate to spike. A good subject line is always card declined. People tend to open those emails a lot, and I put that in randomly at the middle to generate a little bit of engagement and just say, "Ha, tricked you." That's what you're getting. You can cop a little bit of abuse, but good human abuse. And that works. It's all, like I said, it's just about building a relationship, giving people a bit of a giggle, letting them call me a smart ass or something like that. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you're showing your character there. I mean, at the end of the day, like that's one thing, by the way, I respect about you is when I see like the content that you produce, that you always end up putting a little bit of your personality in there and humor, which is really great. Because the other thing that you just said there about using the subject line as a kind of like a hook to get people to come in. Sometimes if it's misleading, it's bad practice apparently to do that in marketing. But I think if you've got that personality behind it, then you can get away with it. Like, if you were to open that email and be like, all right, okay, fair one, that was quite good. Like, then you can kind of be a bit more forgiving with that person. But it's just funny how there's no, as you said, it just proves the point. There's no silver bullet. There's no one size fits all, but there's all these different pieces of information you can make it work for yourself. So yeah, thank you for answering that. Email marketing, get educated, guys. All right, so I'm going to go through the comments here real quickly, and we'll start to pick up some of the questions that people have asked.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's go through the chat first. I changed the layout, by the way. I figured it out.
Looks much better. My big fat head's not front and center.
Yeah, apologies about that. And you look beautiful, don't worry. You look absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. How do you turn Facebook ad boost like stars? Okay, hold on, let me just decipher this. Okay, so yeah, how in other words, Paul's asking, how do you get like somebody from a Facebook ad click to actually sign up for putting their email address into an input box so that you have them on your list? What would you say there?
There's a couple of different things you can do, and Facebook ads are one of those hot topics. There's horses for courses on this. So with a Facebook ad, the purpose of the ad is to get the click. Its job is only one thing, and it's just to get someone to click. The job of the landing page is to do the job of the landing page, whether that be to capture the email, to get them to hit add to cart, to get them to enter their credit card information. It could be any one of those things, but the job of the landing page is to do the landing page's job. Once the Facebook ad's done, got the click, it's completed its mission, it's done its job, high five, go back home. So if you're getting a lot of clicks but no signups to a email list, so I'm just going to use the example that you've got an email capture form on this landing page. If you're not getting something there, then there's an issue with the landing page in some form. Okay, so that means that there's no pop-up, there's no immediate call to action. It could be if a lot of your clicks are coming from mobile traffic, then looking at the landing page on your phone, is there an easy way for them to perform that action that you want them to do right there without having to scroll on their phone and figure it out for themselves? Everything's going to be very, very obvious, very simple for those customers. So moving those people from being a click or a like on the page towards being a customer, it's a bit of a slow process because you have to figure out where that issue lies. Now, I think in the question itself, I just had a quick look at it. It was more around boost like. So one of the things with boosting posts is that its mission isn't to get clicks. A boosted post is to build engagement. So that's what Facebook does with that particular ad format. It will build engagement. Now that's people who like, people who react, people who comment. That's Facebook engagement. So when you're paying for boosts, you're paying to get more engagement on those pieces of content that you're producing. So that if you've got like a link to a website, that's great, but that's not what Facebook's mission is. Facebook's mission is just to build engagement around those. So my suggestion—
It's a really good distinction, by the way. Really good distinction.
Thank you. And understanding how Facebook works. Like we're hearing all about this Facebook algorithm and stuff like that at the moment, thanks to the news. Well, Facebook's got many algorithms. This is one of the things that we don't understand. So when you're choosing an ad format to use, whether it's a link campaign, you want to get more clicks to your website, you either want to build more conversions, that's using a different algorithm for Facebook. It's going to find people who are more likely to click the link if you click the link clicks campaign. If you're choosing the conversions, it's going to choose that smaller group of people who are more likely to purchase and all that. It's going to show those ads to those different subsets of people based on your targeting. So having an understanding about the different ways that Facebook works will make your ads much more effective because you're just choosing the right format for the job. So the right tool for the job, so to speak. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the amazing thing about Facebook's ad platform is it keeps progressing. You know, every day there's a new product on their ad platform, and it's got, and I think that was a really nice way of putting it. Like, the way you distinctively said, like, you know, the boosting a post is for engagement, whereas an ad is for like a specific purpose of like getting a person on a landing page. All these different products have different purposes, and I think it's really important to recognize that, actually. And just to add in there, by the way, I think that process does take time, but these ad platforms like Facebook, for example, allow us to iterate faster. So, you know, getting the value proposition aligned on your landing page with the ad message and the call to action so that it all lines up so that it's a smooth process to get the customer, you know, converting at each point to eventually put their email address in and then eventually becoming a customer. That's basically what the goal of marketing is to smooth that process out as much as possible. A lot of people think it's like, you know, they'll focus in on one individual component, like conversion rate or something like that, but it's not. It's a journey for the customer that you're trying to like reduce friction at every single point along that way. Okay, thanks for answering that one. It's a really good answer, actually. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So Sarah's asking about influencers. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, so she's asking, you know, how do you find relevant influencers, and if, you know, are they of any use? Are they helpful?
Influencers have had a really good run, influencer marketing. It's definitely, it's a very saturated market these days, because anyone themselves can call themselves an influencer. And what defines that in reality? An influencer is someone who has influence. And what influence do you want them to have? Is the influence that you want them to have, you're going to get a lot of engagement on those posts that they put on Instagram, a lot of hearts and a lot of comments, and that's great. Or is it someone who's going to persuade someone to buy? So in my eyes, the perfect influencer would actually be someone like an aligned brand who already has an established following. So if you are a whiskey subscription box, a aligned brand could be someone who sells, you know, whiskey glasses, or maybe like a men's lifestyle products, or it could be, you know, like a barber shop or something like that, something that's sort of representative of the audience that I want to sell to. And then we work together towards creating engagement content for that audience, and then ultimately offering our services and products to them, you know, in a unique way that they respond well to. So that's something that I would use. I'm not a particularly big fan of some of the influencer marketplaces. There are a few that I know of, and I'm struggling to remember off the top of my head. I do apologize. But you can basically Google influencer marketplace. I think tribe.co is one I've seen. There is another one here in Melbourne. I'm struggling to remember what they're called. I'm sorry. If I remember that, I'll post it in the Subly group.
Okay.
But yeah, for influencers, I'm always a bit reluctant. So look at them more as affiliates is probably the best way of doing it. I've had more success in doing that because it incentivizes, it gives them a monetary incentive towards promoting the actual sale of your box, rather than just saying, hey, this is cool, check out this glamorous shot of me. But if they're going to get a cut, if they're going to get, you know, $10, $5, or whatever it is that you decide to offer them, they're going to be much more pushy in terms of how they pitch that to their customers. They're going to do much more different things with their whole bio. So a good example on Instagram, if you do tee up one of these great influencers who's got a good track record of converting, you know, viewers into buyers, getting them to update the whole bio just for the duration of that campaign. Change the link to their website to your website, to your checkout page, to your product page. It could be anything like that. Get the whole package and get everything that they've got working for you, funneling their traffic straight to yours. That's the ideal way of using those influencers.
Yeah, good call. I think the funny thing about Instagram is it's so fleeting. Like, you put a post up, you'll get likes, and then you'll get a trickle over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, and then nothing, and it's gone, and it's forgotten. It's not as evergreen as other strategies out there, but it makes a lot more sense, as you said, to kind of funnel it. Make sure you're getting the full package. I really like that piece of advice. Influencer marketing is an interesting one. I think that it is very much here to stay, but it's going to evolve. There's a lot of white noise. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles right now, and this is like the prime hub of influencers. Everybody and their phone and their dog is a model now. Yeah. Everybody is literally an Instagram influencer now. And, so many people have bolstered their followings using bots and stuff like that. So you have to be really careful with that as well. It's about engagement. How loyal is their fan base? Do they engage with them? You can do a rough estimate, like, how many likes per post versus the following to kind of get a rough engagement. And you can figure out quite quickly whether or not they've, paid for a bot to like get them followers or whatever. So yeah, influencer marketing is, I think it's here to stay though. I think it's just going to evolve. A lot of evolution going on right now, actually, in the online world, and it's quite an interesting time. But all right,
true.
Cool.
A good little tip just with that: if you are scouting out influencers and you want to find out, if it's going to be a good return on investment, approach the companies that they've been promoting before you, just directly, and say, what was the outcome? Hey, I know you did this campaign with them. Just wondering, did you find a good ROI? You don't have to give me numbers, but I'm just considering doing the same. And just approach them. It's easy, and that's free market research for you as well.
That's brilliant. I really like that one as well, actually. Good little nugget there. All right, I'm going to jump on the event page here to see if there's any questions there quickly, because I recall there being a couple. All right, okay. There will be a recording of this video published if all goes smoothly with this new software. Should have done a practice run. I'm sorry, guys. All right, let's see. So Bruce Wilhite has said, hey, Steve, it looks like I'm the first question. Our business is a home air filter subscription service. We deliver the correct air filters when it's time to change them at a cost that's less than the store. I've invested in professional marketing services to build and deliver Facebook ads, but we're not getting new customers, 0. I'd like to get your thoughts on more effective ways to deliver our message. This is, hold on. Okay. I mean, we kind of already covered this in terms of like alignment, but what I think we should do with this one, because I don't know, do you think we've got enough time? We can maybe, do you want to try and do this? Like, this might be interesting. Have you got the options on the side there to share your screen?
I think I do actually, and I've got the question here, so let's just go.
Do you want to try and share your screen and see if we could do a quick analysis? This could be quite cool.
Oh, it's trying to. Hang on, I should be able to install this thing without resetting the Chrome extension. Okey-doke. Let's try this again.
And I got a massage yesterday for the first time in about a year, maybe, and my back is in agony.
All right, pain is good.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can, but let me just change the format of this real quick. I think, hold on. Can we do it this way? There we go. Oh, hold on. We'll make this one, and then eek. Let's do it this way. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I've got your screen, full screen.
Great. And I think this is the website in question, because that's what I grabbed from the question.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So I guess without knowing the full story of what that marketing service did for you, what I'm going to be doing is just guessing. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, there was no, I couldn't see the actual ad itself, unfortunately. But yeah, let's have a go anyway.
Great. All right, no worries. Now, air filters are a great thing. I really like this subscription, actually. It's low cost and it's high value for the clients. Clean, pure, fresh air. That's really, really Cool. So my first question would be, who's this aimed at? Who is the target market? Who is the person that makes the purchase? Is the person that makes the purchase a business? Is it a homeowner? I'm assuming it's a homeowner, given that you're selling direct to consumer. And who's the person in the house that's really making these purchasing decisions? Is it the mum or is it the dad? If it's the mum, then what is the mum's reasons? Thinking, we're going to take a step back. What's the mum's reason for wanting to purchase this air filter? Okay, so we're getting down into some of their buying decisions and how they're going to think about making a purchase. So if one of the reasons that they've thought about buying one of these air filters is that they want clean, pure, fresh air for their children, then that's great. That's a little in for you. So they have children. So what's one of the benefits of having clean, pure, fresh air for your children? Hey, maybe you get no more, you've got kids who have allergies. Okay, kids who have allergies, making sure that it's a safe environment for them, making sure that there's no more sneezes and sniffles over the cold season. Maybe it's having less nighttime coughing fits or something like that. Where is the pain that they're being motivated towards making sure that this is a regular thing? Because it's one of those jobs that you forget to do. You probably can't see it in my camera now, but I have a little air conditioner, a heater unit up there, and I always forget to change the air filter. But if someone delivered to me a little air filter once a quarter or however often I need to change it, I would do that. So it's also about convenience there as well. Being convenient, not feeling like a forgetful parent, making sure you're doing all these right things for your children, without the hassle. We're going to do this for you. It's super cheap. We'll get it done. Now, just looking here, I can see we have a lot of features, but I can't see any benefits. So just scrolling through, and I know I'm doing this a bit quick, but this talks about the product. Air filters delivered when you need them for less than the hardware store. Okay, that's fine. Okay. You've got, obviously the subscription process. There's no problem there. You're telling me that they're quality, but you're not telling me why I should subscribe. You're not telling me what's the benefit. What's this going to do for me and my family? What's this going to do for my home? And they're the internal questions, the internal desires, the internal thoughts that your prospects are going through as they're viewing these pages, as they're viewing your ads, as they're viewing these pages, they're viewing your email campaigns. If we're talking straight features, we're not talking about benefits. We've got air filters delivered to your home for less than the cost of the hardware store or less than the trip to a hardware store because we know you're so busy as a parent. Okay, so what's the because that ends these statements that you've got here? Okay, choose from MERV, blah, 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 thicknesses, custom size, all proudly made in the USA. And they're good features, but it means, this stuff translates to, we've got your filter in size. Everything is custom made. That's the thing. But don't worry, we've got yours inside. Just tell us what you need, and we'll get it for you. We've got varying thicknesses in stock because we understand that sometimes the little germs need a stronger, thicker filter so they don't get through. Could be any one of those things. So good ways of finding out how to actually pitch this to your target market is I want you to Google air filter forum or parent forum or something like that. Go into the parent, go figure out who the decision maker is, type in that person, mum forum, parent forum, something like that. I'm assuming it's going to be the mum, to be honest. And go into those forums and start typing in air filters and see what comes up. See what statements that those people are making in the forums. Hey, I installed an air filter and it just made a world of difference in Jack's life. His bedroom is now clean. He's playing.
That's brilliant.
Looking at those sorts of things really tells you in their own language how they respond to these products. What are the things? Why did they actually do it? Were they feeling like a shitty parent because they didn't do this? We're getting really dark now, but is that the real deep is that the deep stuff that's really keeping him, really bugging him? And I know we're going right down in the weeds here for air filters, but they're the types of things that people think about in their head before they make these decisions.
Yeah, totally.
And if you can sort of answer these questions, those internal questions that they're probably not going to say out loud, as well as those external ones that they're going to say, they're going to type about in the forums, you're going to see a massive jump in your conversion rates, especially at least in your click-through rates anyway, because you're going to be hitting that pain really hard. But make sure that you are, and like this is one of the other things too, don't set up your page so that you look like the hero, okay? You know, you're not the hero of this story. You're not the hero. The parent's the hero of the story because they're solving the problem themselves.
Yeah, make them the hero.
Make them the hero. You're just that Yoda. You're just that guide who's going to say, hey, you know, we've got this. If you want to do this, you lead the way. You just tell us what you need and we'll make sure you've got everything for you. So that's my 2 cents on that topic.
No, I love it. And if you want to stop sharing the screen quickly, we can talk about this for a second because it's brought up a couple of points here I think that are worth exploring, Steve.
No worries. Okay, I think my screen's off now. Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, and we've been swapped. I wonder if I can just drag these to switch them now. But whatever, I think I'll figure this out eventually. I've got lots of feedback already after using this for the guys who made this software, so I can't wait to dive in and give them that feedback. Yeah, that was really interesting actually, and I think another thing that we could probably throw in the mix there is to say that if you have multiple value points, you know, that you could orientate your marketing around. So whether that's, you know, for your kids or for you know, for yourself or whatever, for your health, you could have a different landing page for each one, and then have your ads aligned with those landing pages as well, and have having that message just consistent throughout. So you've got the ad with that message and the landing page with that message, developing it further and building that trust and authority, and then getting them onto the funnel, which is really what this is all about, as we kind of mentioned earlier. So I think that was really helpful, you sharing that, going through and explaining it bit by bit. So I appreciate you doing that, Steve.
Not a problem.
All right, let's have a look here. And the next question we've got is, how important is an email campaign? I think we've kind of covered this one off, Stephanie. I mean, email marketing is Steve's #1 favorite. But in terms of what email platform do you use, and any tips on how to implement a successful email campaign?
A good little, I personally use a software called Klaviyo, Klavio, Klaviyo. It integrates, it's like using the MailChimp e-commerce upgrade, but a lot cheaper. So, and it works well because you can see the actual ROI from each email. So the obviously the open rates and click-through rates, but it shows you the ROI, which is great. It gives you that positive reinforcement if something's working. So I use that. A little tip: you don't put the pressure on yourself to write out this massive long email automation sequence straight away. Start sending your regular campaigns, but try not to focus all the time on selling. Try and focus on relationship building as well. And the relationship building ones that get the highest open rates and all that sort of stuff, add that to the memory bank, and then add that to an autoresponder. I just constantly adding things to it over time. Okay.
Yeah. Make it evergreen.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And like you'll slowly build it over time. And yeah, so don't always focus on selling. Obviously having those strong calls to actions, but focus on engagement, getting people to open them and getting them to know you as well. That know, like, trust is one of those big underpinning things of marketing that we need to build up. And if we're straight up just saying, hey, buy my stuff, prospects, they just get turned off. So they stop opening it.
And they start filtering it out as well.
That's right. So my 2 cents there.
Okay, awesome. Do you use any affiliate platforms? You mentioned one already.
I use Refersion as my affiliate go-to place. It's okay. It's okay. You don't need an affiliate platform. If you use a unique, they're great just in terms of transparency for who's doing what and who's made what. But even if you just give them a unique discount code, you can just track how many people have used that discount code and then base your affiliate commission on that. So
that's what we recommend on Subly. I mean, we've got a few things on the roadmap and in the pipeline, but the affiliate tracking through using a coupon code is quite a simple and effective way of doing it. Some people also use the refer a friend tool to do it as well, just as a way to like track it, and then they'll just set the credit as like a low amount that's the reward that's given to the customer and the referrer. So yeah, we've covered all the questions off on the Facebook page, so that simplified things a little bit. There's a couple of follow-up questions here, I think, in the chat. Let's see. Okay, so how do you regulate? Excuse me. How do you regulate legal age since it's liquor? Paul's asked this one.
Yep, good question. So the shipping is how we do it. So shipping requires ID check before they receive the goods. So
Okay.
yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, anyone can go on the internet and anyone can buy anything. I can't stop that.
Yeah.
You know, everyone can say, yes, I am over 18, okay, or 21, sorry, in the US. But no, so we have to make sure at the last mile that we cut that off as best we can, and that's through ID checks when they pick it up, and that happens in Australia and the US. So yeah, which is good.
Do they do it when they receive the box, or
when they receive it, or they get the notification to pick it up? I know in Australia, generally, if we're not home to pick up a parcel, we get a little card. We have to take that card to the post office to show our ID. Yes, that happens. Or if we're here, they generally the postie needs to show you need to show your ID. Yes, I'm that person. Unless, of course, you know it's the same postie you've had for 40,000 years, and they know who you are by now. So
of course, they've got a first name basis.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then Paul's also asked another one, which is, what does AIDA stand for? I think it's attention, interest, desire, and then action, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool.
That's how I've got it in my head. So if I'm wrong,
yes, I'm like, okay, is the old ticker still working? The brain still working? All right, so another one here. Do you send different emails once they become a subscriber? Yes, I think the answer to that one is yes.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And then you've already mentioned the platform. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the questions. Let me just check here, because I've also found the question section has been filled up by Andrea from the Facebook page, but there's a couple of extra ones here as well.
Cool.
What's the best advice? Here we go. This is a great one. Laura Collins. What's the best advice surrounding packaging and shipping? What worked and what didn't that you had to change?
I love this question. So packaging something, my ethos on this is start small, go big long term. So when you're first starting out, brown box, just like you can see in the background, with a sticker on it, just get a nice sticker made up. Yeah, pay someone on Fiverr or Upwork, one of those cheap platforms, to make you a nice pretty sticker with your logo on it, with some stuff, a little bit of text just to seal the box. And it creates like a semi-custom box. Okay, it's cheap and it's effective. Once you've got your first 50 subscribers, 40 subscribers, you're going to be the money anyway, so you get a little bit of money in the account. Then start thinking about getting some custom packaging. Don't do that straight off the bat, because sinking money into custom packaging for an untested business is, unless you've got a bit of money behind you, there's no point. Most of us are all bootstrapped. We're not seeking money from founders or anything like that. We're using our own investment, and just use your investment wisely. So start small, use just a standard brown box, use the smallest boxes you can physically find. It's going to keep all the goods in there nice and stable. You don't want movement in those boxes, so things can get broken and damaged, and you don't want to be using too much packing filler to keep everything in there. So you can keep it nice and compressed. If you can make sure that everything survives the 1 meter drop test, which basically means drop it from a meter, and as long as it doesn't break, you're good to go for the postal service. That's the best way of getting cheap, pretty packaging that's effective. And long term, I've experimented with a variety of different box types. My initial box type, because I send little bottles of whiskey, obviously have to be packaged really, really well. First off, it was just bubble wrap. Okay, doesn't look pretty, but it's effective. Next, it was I got custom foam cutouts made, so actual big, thick foam stamped cutouts. Now, they weren't cheap. Okay, I waited until I had money in the business before I did that. They protected it really well. I can throw them against the wall and they don't break, which is pretty cool. I don't throw my boxes against a wall anymore, so
you'll need to do it once, right?
I only need to do it once. I've since moved.
Throwing the packages before they give every single one of them to the postman.
Hey, he said I could do this. Throw.
Yeah.
Since then, I've moved on to. I'm in a bit of an eco nut. I like to look after the environment around me. So I've moved a lot of that stuff, because that stuff was all produced overseas. I've moved everything to production in Australia using local and sustainable and carbon neutral factories. So everything's made of recycled cardboard now, and it sort of goes with my branding too, which is great. And it's just cardboard inserts inside a box. That's all printed nice, flashy, looks really, really good. So so that's just how I've evolved it over time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good approach, to be honest with you. I mean, the packaging topic is really hot, actually, and the I think the way you've approached it is kind of like the same as bootstrapping a business, and the kind of like the lean principles of like you start with what you need to get moving, and then you iterate it and improve it over time. And I'm really glad you mentioned that you are bootstrapped. I'm a bootstrapper. You're a bootstrapper. There's a lot of bootstrappers in our group. Um, I think what's your thoughts if people are considering raising funds? Like, do you have an opinion on raising money? Do you think it has its place, or are you a massive advocate for bootstrapping? What's your thoughts there?
It's interesting. If you had asked me this 12 months ago, I would have said bootstrap all the way. No questions asked. I'm doing this to be my own master, control my own destiny, all that sort of stuff. I guess it's just a different approach. There's two ways to skin the cat. And you got to remember, if you're raising funds, you do have people who have influence over you and your business. So if you're comfortable with that, that's okay. Okay, you can do that. You can do bigger and better things with more money. Let's face it. If someone gave me $100,000 and said, go and make your business the best business in the world, I could probably do that. But if you don't do that, you have to do these things over time. If you have, I guess for subscription boxes specifically, a lot of us don't have a huge amount of margin. Okay, so if you don't have a huge amount of margins, it means you're not going to have a lot of profit sitting there in the business at all times. So you're going to have to just suck it up and be prepared for slow and steady growth if you're prepared to go on the bootstrap way. And for me, that worked well. I mean, I've got pretty healthy margins, don't get me wrong, but for me, I just wanted that slow and steady growth month over month, and that worked well for me. But if you really want that rocket ship and you've got a very low margin product, well, where are you going to get those funds from? It would be my question. You're going to take it a loan? Are you going to go seek investment? Yeah, that's where you're going to have those considerations. So just be prepared to sort of address, what is it that I want out of this business? I'm starting a subscription recurring income business for a reason. Is that because I just want something to replace my personal income? Great. Slow and steady growth all the way, definitely. Because you'll make it work while you're working, you'll make it work on the weekends, and eventually over time it will be where you want it to be, as long as you're putting in the right amount of effort and care. If you want to go, all right, well, I want to be out of this thing in 6 months, I've got a low dollar product, well then, hey, you might have to go and seek outside investment, or you need to get some funds from somewhere else. I've been approached by investors before. I've declined them. I often wonder, was that the best decision? But to be honest, it is. I'm happy, I'm comfortable. My goal has never been to have 1 million subscribers or 20,000 subscribers or anything like that. I'm very comfortable with where my business is at, and I love it because it works for me. Okay, that's my ethos. I want a business that works for me. I march the beat of my own drum. I'm a control freak, so I don't want people telling me what I can and can't do, specifically with something that I've created.
Yeah,
I
think that's a good way of putting it. Like, ask yourself the question, what do I want at the end of the day? And I think it's okay for that answer to change over time as well. Obviously, if you're doing something and it's working and you're like, oh, this could be huge, or you decide that you're more passionate about it than you even first realized, then it's okay to change that answer and be like, okay, I'm going to raise capital now. That's an interesting topic. And another question I've got for you before we close up, and there's like 2 really quick questions, but I've got one more question for you first. What's your thoughts on a marketplace when it comes to marketing? Do you have any specific thoughts on it?
Are you talking about the Cratejoy marketplace or just marketplaces in general?
In general, like Amazon's marketplace, because I hear Amazon are working on having a subscription box section. Do you think that it's an all or nothing situation, or do you think that it's because my beliefs on it are it should be supplemental to your marketing strategy? A lot of people will get caught up and say it's basically the main driver of their business. I mean, that's my thoughts on it, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
No, I'm very much in alignment with you. Having a look at, you can use Amazon as a good example. Amazon's marketplace is going to be great for subscription box owners because it's going to add another stream of people who are interested in buying a subscription box. That's great, but that's a supplement. Have a look at the Amazon subscribers who've been banned. Sorry, the Amazon merchants, just in general, not necessarily marketplace ones, but the Amazon merchants who have been banned, who have been blacklisted by Amazon, and that was their only source of revenue, only source of customers. If that went away, you're gone. Your business is done. So what's the point in having just one source of traffic. Diversification is where it's at. Having, your product listed on any of those, find a subscription box or any of those marketplaces around is a great idea. It's just diversification, getting more eyeballs onto your product. But limiting yourself to one particular source of traffic, it's just a recipe for disaster because you don't own that platform. Another example is YouTube. Okay, YouTubers who make money, doing their streams or doing whatever it is that they do. Then when YouTube suddenly changes the goalpost and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not going to monetize that anymore. Goodbye."
Game over.
You've just lost all your revenue. So they're perspectives from different industries that you can take to this discussion. It's really important to have control of where your customers are coming from, be it Facebook ads, influencer marketing, marketplaces, SEO, whatever. It's really important just to have a broad spectrum of where those people are coming from. And because otherwise, long term, it's just setting itself up for failure.
Yeah. No, that's a good answer. Yeah, I think I've seen the dark side of it as well. I mean, personally, I've kept all my eggs in one basket and discovered the hard way that's really dangerous in my last business, and it's a constant struggle because the tendency is if something works, you want to do more and more of that one thing, which you should do that, but at the same time you have to protect the downside. Richard Branson said that always manage the downside. So all right, really two more real quick questions, then we'll wrap up here, Steve. Does having a subscription box that needs a signature hinder keeping subscribers? I believe that it probably doesn't, because that's on the other side of the coin. That's when they receive the product rather than upfront.
No, it doesn't make any difference, to be honest.
And what is a good margin to identify? I hear this question all the time. What's your margin? What's a good margin? What would you say?
As much as possible. Like, go for the highest. There isn't the right number. If you can get 100% margin, do 100% margin. Like, do that. Yeah. The more money you make means the more you can spend on getting subscribers. Okay, exactly. And the more better experience you can give your subscribers, and the better things you can do in your business, and the more money you make at the end of the day. The more, the better. Always be looking for ways to increase your margin, but increase the quality at the same time. If you're saving money, make sure that it's increasing quality for your subscribers and end users too.
Yeah, because that's also another thing that you'll find a lot of very frugal businessmen or businesswomen. They'll get their margins up, but then they won't improve the quality, and therefore it's like a train wreck waiting to happen because they're not actually giving back to the customer. So awesome, right, Steve. You're a true gentleman. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. And I just really want to quickly talk about the Subscription Accelerator. Do you want to give a real quick kind of like explanation as to what the Subscription Accelerator is? Because, I'm aware of what it is, and I'm also sure that people are aware of what an accelerator is for businesses in general, like Y Combinator, et cetera, et cetera. So where does the Subscription Accelerator fall into that? What is the Subscription Accelerator?
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for giving me the time to talk about that. So the Subscription Accelerator is a membership community, okay, for subscription box owners. Now, it really the core part of the Subscription Accelerator is that you get access to all the training that I've done in the past. So obviously, I've done training on launching, marketing, growth, customer retention. Plus, I have a lot of masterclasses with a few very high-level people in terms of influencer marketing, email marketing, so on and so forth. And we're constantly adding things every single month. Now, the other part of it is it's a community too. So you're with, just like with Subly, you have this great subscription box entrepreneurs discussion forum. We have our own forum as well. So it's just another way of getting some different eyeballs, some different lenses, and some more private sort of one-on-one style coaching from me during live Q&A sessions that we do each and every month. So nice. If anyone's interested, obviously just let me know. I'm not going to pitch you guys or anything like that. This isn't appropriate for that, but that's just what I do. I genuinely like doing this stuff. I love talking about it. I love, just like with Brian's sort of website there, I love going through those sites and having a look and, helping you understand sort of from a buyer's mentality and even from a marketing lens, what we can do to make these things better and, make you guys more money. That's what it's all about, to be honest. So.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
No, I love it, and I love what you're trying to achieve with the Subscription Accelerator. And Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, guys, I am a member on there to assist with technical-based questions. Yeah, Steve is a mentor, and I'm happy to recommend him as a mentor because as I know him personally. Yeah, guys, that's a wrap. I'm sorry it wasn't as polished as usual. The software is good. I think I'm liking it. If you have any issues with it, just let me know. We're going to publish this video after this, and there's some announcements coming up at the end of this week for new stuff coming out from Subly, so I'm excited to stay tuned for that on the group. We'll be announcing on there as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for just now, guys. You know where we are. Steve and I, and Andrea as well. As always, thank you for assisting in the chat section, Andrea. He's the top man. I can't express that enough. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. So we'll talk to you soon. It's a bye from me.
And thank you very much for your time, guys. I really appreciate it, and I really love this Q&A session. So yeah, I look forward to helping out more.
Nice one. Cheers, Steve.
Thanks,
talk to you soon, guys. Bye.